Over the last few years, a new type of super shoe has entered the market, capturing the attention of runners around the world, promising the next level of performance and generally carrying the price tag to match.
Yeah, nowadays most running shoe manufacturers have their own high-end super shoe, usually containing a carbon plate and ultralight materials. It's pretty hard to argue with the science, even harder to argue with the results.
But we thought we'd give it a go anyway, and so today we will bring you the showdown that you never thought you needed: cheap shoe
versus super shoe. That's right, we've all heard of the hype and excitement around this next generation of super shoe, and we thought it's about time we put them to the test, GTN style. Now in 2017, the running world was shaken up by this new release from Nike, the Vaporfly 4%, which has a carbon plate integrated into the sole, which they claim helped to improve running economy by, you guessed it, 4%.
Since then, the running market has been hit time and time again as brands bring out their own boundary-pushing super shoes. And here at GTN, we've been lucky enough that On have provided us with their latest set of super shoes, the On Cloud Boom. The Cloud Boom trainers really are up there as a true super shoe. Retailing at £170, the Cloud Boom has a carbon speedboard plate running from heel to toe with a twin layer of patented Helian superfoam, one above the carbon speedboard and one below. This shoe is an out-and-out racer. The Cloud Boom has been constructed with a single layer of ultralight engineered mesh to reduce weight and dissipate heat. So at only 225 grams, the Cloud Boom not only sounds fast, it is fast.
Well, we're not disputing that that shoe is fast, but does that make this cheap shoe slow? Well, it's time to take a look at the Challenger. The Solomenzi running shoe, retailing at just under £30 and surprisingly a very similar weight to the On Cloud Boom. And yes, I've done some research on the Solomenzi shoe and they are advertised as having a fabric knit upper, giving them breathability and fast drying. They also have excellent shock absorbing ability, comfort, and they are stylish. You can make your own mind up on that. The outer material is synthetic with a gum rubber sole. It has a non-slip sole and I have the list here. They are suitable for party, sports, indoor, outdoor, travel, shopping, driving, camping, dog walks, running, you get the picture.
So basically, they're an all-rounder.
Yeah, pretty much. Right then, we've got both shoes beside us right now, so I thought we'd run through some of the obvious differences by eye between the two. So, starting with the Cloud Boom, well, they are a very sleek and well-engineered pair of shoes. They've got some advanced materials in there, they look very breathable. They're also incredibly stiff when you roll them through, and then they've got this really nice spring to them as you toe off. The cheap shoe, however, is, well, I hate to say it's quite a clunky design. I wonder how that's going to feel. They've also got quite a thick midsole that doesn't feel that secure and stable. They are, though, incredibly stiff. I'm quite surprised by that, but you don't seem to get quite the same toe-off spring, so be interested to see how they feel.
Yeah, I mean, there are also similarities. Very simply put, they are both running trainers, both specifically designed for running, and so it does raise the question, how much difference does a running shoe make? I mean, the Cloud Booms clearly are an out-and-out racer. These are specifically designed for racing, whereas the Solomenzis are, I mean, they might have things like grip, comfort, and general usability in mind. And I mean, that's not to say that the Cloud Boom doesn't have these things. They have a new traction pattern on the sole to give you grip in all conditions, and they've added stability in the toe box to help with grip on sharp turns. And generally, there's a good amount of comfort and cushioning for an all-out-and-out racer.
Well, that's enough talk, but can these shoes walk the walk or run the run?
Well, we've come up with a highly scientific, detailed measuring process that will calculate optimized velocities and propulsive forces between two stationary objects measured out using an advanced geographic positioning system.
Hey, that's right. We're going to be running as fast as we can to compare the two pairs of shoes.
Well, that doesn't seem very scientific.
What do you mean that's not very scientific? Okay. It's going to be hard to be completely scientific, but we're going to try our best. So we're going to do 2 tests today. The first test will be a set of 2 400s with 1 minute recovery. One of us will be wearing the cheap shoe, the Solomenzis, and one of us will be wearing the Cloud Booms, the super shoe. After the test, we'll take a bit of recovery, we'll swap shoes, and we'll go again. We'll be looking at how fast we went and how we felt during the effort.
And then we're also going to do a 2K tempo. Hopefully this will be more of a test for the shoes than it is for us. And as with the others, once we've done that 2K tempo, we'll swap shoes and do the same again.
Absolutely. So I'm happy with that. We've marked out the course using your geographical positioning system, and I see that you've chosen the super shoe, which means that I am in the cheap shoe.
Look, now we know there's a lot of variables at play here, but we wanted to do this basic test to cut through the advertising and see what their basic differences are on the ground. Hopefully we'll see that today. Now the intervals we've chosen to do are short enough that hopefully they don't induce so much fatigue that they start to affect the results, but also long enough that we do build off a bit of a picture of their performance.
So let's go for a little warm up and then we'll get cracking.
Okay, Sam, should we do this?
Yeah, who's going first?
I'm quite keen for you to go first so I can just watch from behind and see how these shoes look.
Okay, how much head start do I get?
I'll give you a minute, hopefully I don't catch you.
A minute, I'm on a 400.
Or these stroller ladies don't catch you.
We better go quick. Okay. You gonna count me in?
Yeah, ready? 3, 2, 1, go, 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 go! Oh, it's fast!
That was a long 400. I don't feel like they give you anything. It just feels like you're really working hard. And I'm trying to work out if that's because of my level of fitness or the trainer. But we'll see what the Cloud Booms can offer. So we've done first set done, 2 400s, minute break in between, and how was it, Mark?
Well, I'm regretting deciding to do 2 lots of 400s, but actually quite well paced, although it didn't feel like it. I went 68 on the first one and 69 on the second one. Very interested to hear how these guys went though.
Yeah, not sure I paced myself as well as you. I went 69 for the first, and then around 72, 73 for the second. Very excited to try those because these just felt, they weren't giving me anything. Like, it's like, you know, if you run on hard sand on a beach, it just sort of takes a bit out each time. And so I'd like a bit of that energy return.
I'm not so excited to hand these over.
We'll give it a go.
Hello mate, how was that then?
Yeah, well done. Much better. I was amazed at how different they felt compared to the start.
What times did you go with those then?
I did 67 on the way out, 69 on the way back. So
that is fast, mate, and significantly quicker than you went with these on the first ones.
Yeah.
I was, no surprises, the opposite way around. So I went 72 and 73 on these next 400s with these, and I got to say, I weirdly started off thinking, you know what, these actually feel quite good. And then I realised I actually just felt really comfortable, and then I just was lacking that energy return that I just felt like I was getting with those. And yeah, I think we're going to see this even more so when we go on to these longer efforts, which is kind of the reason we're doing it, because that energy return I just felt like I was getting with those is just, there's nothing here.
I'm really looking forward to the 2K effort in these. Those, I think, is going to be a bit of a struggle, but they are running trainers. Yeah. They should do the job.
Yeah, and you know, in all fairness to them, the profile of them, like, they do toe off quite nicely. Yeah. Like, they're actually like, you know, a comfy shoe they toe off quite nicely. It's just, there's that return that you get from those. That's
a comparison that came to mind for me was it might be similar to like if you're in London or a big city, you hire a bike to go around town. You can sprint and in between, like, it's quite fun, but as soon as you try and do anything proper in it, it just doesn't perform. Whereas these is like your carbon racing bike, and it just...
This is your Boris bike. That's your fully fledged race bike.
Absolutely.
Right then, now for the 2K, and I might as well go first, as you went first on the last one. I'll stay in these gold Solomenzis.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to this one, actually.
Yeah.
More so than 400s.
I'll be thinking of you out there. I'll give you a minute, don't worry.
Okay, all right. Oh, I need to get my GPS in, all good. Okay, ready?
Okay, Mark Threlfall. On your marks, get set, go!
Go, 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 go! Pace it! How was that?
That was all right, actually.
What sort of pace were you going for?
I was sticking on about 320, 325.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
And it just felt controlled, like.
Yeah, I was around 330 per K, so I literally came through about 7 minutes for the 2K, so
Yeah.
bang on. I honestly, like, I didn't really notice much. Like, I think I've just got used to the shoes, but towards the end, I was just sort of like feeling like I was sinking into the ground. And so, yeah, I'm quite excited to get these shoes off, you know.
I felt on top of it the whole way there. It felt exactly as a racing shoe should feel, actually. So the contrast will be very interesting.
All right, let's do this then. All right, the last 2K, and I'm quite pleased I'm finishing off with these.
Yeah.
Right then, can you count me in, Sam?
Yes. Mark Threlfall, are you ready? On your marks, get set, go!
Yes! Nice one. Well done, mate. Well, that was pretty interesting. Like, you've just come in and said your times were slow, it's significantly harder.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily about overall time, it's also about how it felt, but I ran slower, I ran about 4 or 5 seconds a K slower, and it felt harder. I am surprised, because when we first started thinking about this challenge, I thought there wouldn't be that much in it, but it just makes such a difference. Yeah,
I thought there'd be very little in it, and I actually struggled to hold myself back. I think in like the first half a K, I was around 310 per kilometre, and I was meant to be going 330, had to hold myself back. I still went through the whole 2K 20 seconds quicker than I was meant to, so substantially more off, and my heart rate was more or less the same, the effort felt the same, and just to add insult to injury, my shoelace came undone after about a K, and I just carried on because I didn't want to stop. That's user error rather than a manufacturing thing. I just didn't do it well enough, and I still ran.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that we didn't necessarily expect this, and it does sound like we're raving about that shoe, and it won't do the running for you, but man, it makes a difference when you're comparing it to a real standard cheap shoe like this.
Now, whilst we're here, we might as well round this video up and look, as Sam's just said, the Solomenzi shoe is still a good shoe. Like, we've just ran reasonably well in it, and as we've said already, it feels really comfortable. It's got a really nice toe off, and there's a lot of other shoes out there on the market that are very similar, if not slightly better. If you pay an extra £20 or so more, you're going to get, you know, a much better shoe again. But it has highlighted to us today, actually, these super shoes with carbon plates in them, there is maybe something to them.
Yeah, and I think if you were to try and race in those compared to these, they're hands down, like, you know who the winner would be, so.
Yeah, well, we're really interested to hear from you guys about the whole super shoe debate at the moment, because there is a lot out there, whether it's ethical, whether we should be allowing them. Get involved in the comment section down below. I mean, this was an interesting test today. It was very rough and ready. We'd like to take this further, and we will do in the near future. We're going to a lab, we're going to do all sorts of various things. But hopefully that has scratched that itch for you today. And if so, please do give this video a like, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to give GTN a follow over on social media. And if you're not doing so already, give us a subscribe just down below.
Right, race to the pub?
Yeah.
You've got a super shoe on!